Dear Donald J. Trump, GOP, and De Fuhrer, Maxime Bernier. Folks, I hate to have to do this live. It's brutal. It's typical Crown crud. So many of my followers. I'm reading through the comments on my last video. It's shameful. It's gross. It's complete ignorance. Donald J. Trump has made it very clear to Canada, to the premiers. Danielle Smith said she was there. She met Trump. She talked to Trump. Didn't alleviate anything as America plans to transition away from energy, away from Canada's exports to the United States. People aren't listening. Is Justin Trudeau responsible? Sure, he's there. He's there for 9 years. What is it that Donald J. Trump has a problem with, and how long has it been going on? Well, since 1993. Donald J. Trump has drawn a line in the sand and said, no more America. Decolonize. We're done with you. You will do X, Y, and Z. You will do this, or you will be punished with tariffs, sanctions, and into trade embargoes. We're just A1. Destructive, massive hammer blow to the people of Canada. Massive. Maxime Bernier gets on a pulpit. Many of you jump on his side. Many of you say Donald J. Trump, he's the new world order. He's the evil. You've already all justified it in your comments. With zero to back up what you say. I smithed Maxime Bernier in 2018. Kicked his ass, at least in the Alberta business community, large throughout the entire province. I could repeat that all across the provinces, at least in the Anglo provinces, for sure. Quebec runs its own program, very old, older than most of us, post-1867. His goes back quite a ways. Maxime Bernier was instrumental in building this war on America. He was a senior minister, foreign relations. He was stamping it off and voting it forward faster than anybody else underneath Stephen Harper, who started this narrative of war on America. They started the mass immigration. Make no mistake, it was not Justin Trudeau. Did he double down? Sure he did. But not after Stephen Harper initiated, doubled down, and made the ultimate deal with the devil. Communism. Meaning he's a complete fraud. And his senior cabinet, which is one Maxime Bernier, 100%. Now, Canadians, if we weren't Crown, or what's a better word, if we didn't have leaders like Maxime Bernier, who weren't one and parcel and part with the Crown, and we're giving you an honest narrative, they would say tariff Donald J. Trump. And I put Dear Donald J. Trump, Dear GOP in this title, because if we were a normal country, and again, if we were, the tariffs wouldn't be here. They wouldn't. How come Japan doesn't have tariffs? They're a constitutional monarchy too. But they're not building a war on America, are they? They're not delivering fentanyl to Canada, are they? They're not instrumental inside Canada making fentanyl happen and then jumping it over the border. Now, all of you are ignoring the truth here, that your premiers are providing the IDs, legalizing illegals to cross into the United States, largely in a huge 1,000th percentile, 99 percentile. Think about that. Out of 1,000 people, 999 won't be screened by Border Security USA. And USA knows this. It's too hard. How can they track every Canadian who comes across the border with a Canadian passport, with provincial ID? How can they determine each and every one? Do you know how long the line would be for them to spend 20 to 40 minutes on every single one of you? Can you imagine the mass chaos at airports or at the border crossings, the many Canada, USA? Now, they're saying, listen, we can't do it. Your premiers have done this. Maxime Bernier was instrumental in it. He made it possible under Stephen Harper. So did Pierre Poilievre. Maxime Bernier says, no retaliatory tariffs. You need to pay your taxes to me. You must fund me. Because if you don't pay your taxes on top of Donald J. Trump's tariffs, I'm going to go broke. I'm Maxime Bernier. I have crown powers, privy council wages. I have bonuses. I'm wealthy. And you have to take care of me. I am the ultimate warrior of socialist fascists, like all the other politicians. He tells you no retaliatory tariffs. Here's the reality, folks. We can retaliate tit for tat against the United States. You can do that. And it does provide a mass amount of income into Canada. They say, oh, but you'll lose those trade rights with those states. Yes, well, we're already going to lose it on our exports anyway. So at least in our whopping massive costs, and since our politicians that you all love at all levels, you only blame Trudeau. It's only Trudeau according to a majority of you. If you just switch crown from red to blue crown, meaning from ruby to sapphire, everything's going to be okay. It's just a different colored crown. Like crayons, it's going to work out. It's not going to work out. If we were a normal country that functioned properly, you would respond with the tariffs. We're not. But I'm saying Maxime Bernier's narrative ensures that you will all pay not only Trump's tariffs, Trump's American equalization, and interprovincial equalization. You're also going to be taxed to the tits, to the maximum amount, up to here. Now, if you're spawned tit for tat tariffs, your taxes can at least go down. The government, if they were like America, would credit you the money and reduce your income taxes. Is it the same as what America gets from us? No. It's short $100 billion, but can you imagine at least cutting our income tax in half? Ending all interprovincial trade barriers, it'd be a start if our country could run like that. Unfortunately, and I need you de fure Canadians who love Adolf Hitler style economics, socialist and fascist, because that's really what you are. That's what Trump has already highlighted, and you're ready to go communist before you'll ever go freedom. It's sick, it's sad, it's depraved. It showcases huge institutionalization. But in this destruction, which, yes, responding tariffs would destroy us faster, and for me, looking at 51st state, that would be the better thing. Destroy this country faster, at least credit the people money, because it's you who are going to suffer. Now the Crown are all in complete compliance, and it's best not to respond that way. It's best to prolong it as long as possible and let the Crown make as much money from your taxes as possible, print as much money as possible. But they could respond in kind to Trump, credit us, and remove all interprovincial trade barriers. They could do that. It's not going to save us It's not going to fix everything because we're a broken institution. And your crown will never do it anyway. Even if they respond with tariffs, they're going to fill the politicians' pockets, not lower your income tax. They're not going to do that. They're not going to put it into the consolidated fund. They're going to create a separate fund for all the politicians. They're going to say they need that money. They need that money to pay all their civil societies, foreign organizations, and expand our trade deficits with all the other countries, setting up more trade. That's what they'll use it for. Not like Donald J. Trump, who's America first, who's going to take all the tariff money and credit the American people. We're not built that way. We're de Führer by design. Nazi Germany style. 1933. We've always been that way. In fact, our 1867 is that. That's the design that Hitler took to make Nazi Germany, starting with the Enabling Act, which is just a glorified Indian Act attached to the constitutional monarchical system. With president and prime minister, the same thing that Maxime Bernier wants to do. He wants the power crown of governor general and lieutenant governors transferred unto president and governors. That's what he wants in his third France Republic. He doesn't want tariffs responding because he loves Section 92, taxation without representation, and he loves Section 91, taxation without representation, because it fills his pocket through the consolidated fund. That's how all the politicians elected and appointed and crowned, sworn eternally in the oath of secrecy, get paid for the rest of their lives in huge payouts. That's how he exists. A leech, a sucker of souls. That's what he wants. In a normal country, not crown, responding tit for tat tariffs would be the way. Crediting your income tax, at least in the same manner USA is the way. Ending all interprovincial trade barriers, meaning making it illegal for First Peoples or Canadians, just like the United States, of having trade barriers. That would be the start. The next thing is, if you're not going to credit the people of Canada for their gross abuse that you're pushing upon them, at least reinvest the money after you've erased all interprovincial trade barriers, all of them entirely, and making it illegal for anybody, no matter how big or small, to be restricted from trade, and utilizing all trade routes. Now, if we did that, and then we had a reinvestment in deep ports, deep shipping, and a massive military to at least stand up to the United States with a 4% GDP ratio to our military, at least, then the United States will go, whoa, this country's serious. Does it mean another 8 to 10 years of pain and suffering anyway? Absolutely. That would be the only way. But to do that would be to dissolve so much of the provincial crown power and absolutely dissolve so much of the federal crown power. I can guarantee you all 10 premiers, 3 territorial premiers, and the Prime Minister of Canada will not see that done. I'm going to showcase it tomorrow. Maxime Bernier is not your friend. He's your enemy. He is the embodiment of Adolf Hitler, not figuratively, but literally. And if you think he's bad, and he is bad, you haven't seen nothing yet with conservatives and liberals, entirely vested in almost every province and territory in a majority level, one way or another. Ruby or sapphire crown, doesn't matter. They're the same crown. 2 wings of the same bird. A subjugator, an abuser, removal of souls. They take your sovereignty because that's what their mandate is. you're to be a slave. Donald Trump rolled this out 24 hours ago. He even acknowledged it in his own country and said, this law was over slavery. We acknowledge that it's not to be abused by these radical socialist fascists, which is what Canada is entirely, and why we're numero uno one on the list, as well as Spanish Mexico is numero uno two. Tomorrow I'm going to roll out so much for you guys. So much you need to share, get it out there. We'll see if Canadians can understand, if we're more than just yard apes. So far, even in my following, many people who follow me, especially the Maxime Bernier folks, are completely enameled into a dirty, diseased system that they love, that Donald J. Trump hates with a passion, that the GOP and a good chunk, at least 25% of the Democrats, hate with a passion. That should alarm all of you. That should really send signals. We haven't even got into the conservative liberals yet, and even those who say they're for freedom are absolutely not for freedom. They're in the Maxime Bernier bullshit. They're knee-deep in socialist fascist concepts, and they can't escape. No, I'm a yard ape. It's wrong. It's gross. It's everything Donald Trump has highlighted. He says, see. GOP says, see. You see it now. You see it like a bright, shining light. They're all fucked. Left, right, does not matter. Farthest left, farthest right in Canada, they are all polluted. That's why this has to happen. And it's only going to get more aggressive as the months and weeks and days roll on by, day after day, week after week, month after month. It's going to get worse. And these are not your friends. Not Maxime Bernier, not alt-left communists, Green Party, NDP liberals, over to conservatives, and everyone in between, Yves Blanchette and others you won't even speak of. They're all sick. Look at my following. These are the freedom fighters. Completely sick, so many of them. And I know it's not a lot of you who really follow along, but there's a good percentile here. Just in comments, lunatics off the wall, socialist, fascist, can't accept the truth, won't go after their premiers for the PR programs. Very simply rolled out by Donald J. Trump. He said, nope, you didn't get it. You still don't get it. Yard apes. Yard apes. You're that evil of Nazi Germany. You're still there, and you don't get it. So tariffs commence. In the hopes you wake up. I've been told, roll out these other 16 documents. I will. We'll see how many of you share tomorrow, at least in the first two, the biggest being Prime Minister. We'll introduce the premiers, and then much more after that. I'll do that over the next 2 weeks. But I'm feeling the fool's folly here, that just like Nazi Germany, South Africa apartheid, didn't matter. They were in knee-deep sanctions and trade embargoes. It wasn't till military intervention, many decades after their destruction, that they were forced to change. Because they're crazy. They're yard apes, walking around, thinking that this is the right thing. Why would the United States of America target you? Why? But nobody else. Explain it to me. Brilliant Canadians from the left to right. Explain to me why the constitutional monarchy called Japan isn't being hammered. What about Saudi Arabia? In fact, I can list about 14 monarchies that aren't being hammered. We are. What the fuck does that tell you? No, Donald Trump's evil. He's a bastard. No, I won't listen. We just gotta get rid of Justin Trudeau. Donald J. Trump, he's a globalist. You're completely institutionalized into globalism. Day one, you've always been there as leader of all the evil of the UN. But you still won't believe that. You won't accept that. And you're blaming everybody else in every kind of other narrative except for the one that's punching you in the face. Wake up, people. They're punching you in the face right now. Do you get that? Your lives are going to be irrevocably changed. No. It's not that. Wow. You're being punched in the face as hard as humanly possible. And you're going, no, the blood's leaking out of your eyes. This was the same for Nazi Germany and South African apartheid. They had to line up and execute more than 1,500 government officials in front of all of the Germans. Did you know that? Real history. They had to line them up and order them executed so that the populace could unwind their crazy clock. Why is it just you and Mexico? Why is that it? Well, I don't know. We got to join the European Union or join communism? When your politicians are telling you you have to diversify into communism? Hello? The freest country in the world doesn't like me. Why? They're bad, they're globalist, they're evil. No, you're evil, numbnuts. Delusional. Yard ape. I hate to be mean, but people gotta wake up here. The lunatic comments show a lot. From far left, far right, doesn't matter, everything in between. The lunatics who are institutionalized, completely bonkers. No, it's not my country, it's not me. It's everybody else. Look at history. Nazi Germany tried to say the same thing. South African apartheid tried to say the same thing. Didn't work out good for them. Japan already went through it too. They're fixed. Yeah. Oh, here's another one for you. How come Germany isn't hit right now? How come Donald Trump didn't say, Germany is crap? I mean, he's got things lined up for the European Union for sure. Those 9 kingdoms, 7 of them are the European Union. They're next on the docket. But that's way off. Way before the absolute sheer and utter abuse. How come China only got 10% so far? And we got the whopping 25%. What does that tell you? What does that tell you, Canadians and First Peoples? No, everybody else is bad, not me, I'm good. My government's good, it's only Trudeau. So that's why I targeted all 10 provinces and 3 territories? Because there's a lot easier ways to smash the federal government. They're limited on what their powers are. I know at least 4 key industries that would have destroyed your federal government. Donald Trump didn't target any of those. Donald J. Trump and GOP didn't target any of those. He targeted all the 10 provinces and 3 territories. Absolutely. 1/4 of your products, 10% of your energy exports. No, Trudeau's bad. Everything will be fixed. I just gotta Bernier, help, Blue Sapphire, Pierre Poilievre, save me. But they can't save you. They have no jurisdiction over those primary sector industries that are all provincial. I don't know. I don't want to read. I'm a yard ape. I'm a Canadian. I follow the same history as the South Africans and the Nazis. I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. Again, you're being punched in the face as hard as you can be punched. And a lot of you are going, no, no. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up now. Please, everybody, share. This will be my last video. The rest is all going to be professional. 100% on all the work we're going to do. Unfogging, clearing, showcasing 16 new documents nobody's ever published ever in Canadian history for all Canadians and First Peoples. History that takes us to 1610 France, 1624 France, up to 710 UK, the Great Britain. The things seemingly uncodified, codified, found, absolutely imposed in Canada, not cemented in 1867, taken from those colonial designs. Colonial. What does America want to do? Decolonize. What are they highlighting for you today? They're highlighting your premiers, your lieutenant governors, and the evil of your crown. All your provincial powers abused by actors called premiers and lieutenant governors who work with the Prime Minister and the Governor General to exploit all of you and launch a war on America. Well, it's over. And since you guys can't wake up, you need to be punched in the face as hard as humanly possible by the United States of America, probably the freest, fair economy in the entire world. Your gift horse. But apparently they're just bullies, right? They're only bullying you and Mexico because somehow you're different than the whole rest of the world, right? It's bully Trump. Or does it have to do entirely with the war on America, America's national security, and the idea that you have massive trade deficits with everybody else you trade with, but your surpluses come from the United States? Do you think that's fair for America? No. And they're not going to put up with it anymore. Again, they have 106 trade partners. Of course, we're one of those, whereas we only have 15. 9 of which are some of the most horrible countries in the world. But you all think that's glorious and great. You'd rather diversify into communism and remove yourselves from the free and fair world. Okay. Wow. That's my video. Share, share, share. Get it out there. I don't know how else to make it more clearer. Maxime Bernier is not your friend. He's a socialist fascist protecting his own ass. And if you're tariffed, it's tit for tat. If you're a real country. If you're not, that says something. And I know what it says. How dare you take the Crown's money away? How dare you mess with their consolidated fund that you are all slaves to, that you will fill up for their empowerment, their enrichment, because they're the citizens, you are not. Canada, the 51st state. This is what you have to learn. This is the only path forward. Unless somehow you can break the Crown on your own, which clearly, looking at just the comments on my last video, that ain't gonna happen. Not with the amount of delusion, pollution of the mind, the sickness, the idiocracy, the conditioning, the propaganda that completely infects most Canadians in a massive majority. No different than the Nazis of World War II, which is the whole country. No different than the South Africans during apartheid, which is the whole country. The amoral majorities. Sick, wrong, a sad human condition. People don't learn. It don't matter how much education you can get on the internet, people still refuse because of their own self-superiority, which is an illusion. That's the real illusion. That's my video. Bye now.